Okay, dokie, let's do this, Dr. Jones.
Let's go. Hurry.
Distance nerding.
No one wants to hear me do that.
What's up, everybody? I don't know what happened. My voice kind of like cracked for a second. I was like, improv. All right, I'm
You're like, let's go with it.
gonna Tarzan this.
And Sandra Betty, I love me some apple cider.
Oh, so delicious. Speaking of delicious, ladies and gentlemen, it's Taco Tuesday. You know what that means. You are now watching and listening and experiencing Distance Nerding.
Part of the Comic-Con Radio podcast family.
She's ready to break out of her comfy nerd sweaters. She's ready to break out her comfy nerd sweaters. It's Jen from Fray Comics. I know, right?
He's adjusting his Deadpool-inspired poncho. It's young Phil.
It's the only way to live. It really is. And we're here to nerd. Together?
Nerd together?
Nerd together.
Is that the line?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the line. We're here to nerd together.
Yeah, I think I just block it out. I don't know why.
We're talking anything pop culture news, movies, music, food, wrestling, comics, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow us on all the social media places, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Threads, YouTube, Discord, all at Distance Nerding. And of course, if you'd like to shoot us an email, you can do that at dist.
I mean, you could send it. You don't necessarily have to shoot it.
I mean, you can shoot it. Depends. If you want to shoot it, you can shoot it.
I mean, I guess if you hit the enter button and go pew pew, that might be shooting it.
100%. That's exactly how you do it.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's nerding at AOL.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we will read your email on the show. So here we are, masters of the universe.
Born to be kings, where the princess... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Princes of the universe. Already off the rails 10 seconds into the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have now stumbled onto the best or probably the worst kept secret on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now watching The Download. But of course, getting into the show right here, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about, where we are going. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this week on deck, we've got the Geek End Update.
We are embodying that LA vibe, nerdcore style.
Of course. Bringing in a new yet sad segment in Memoriam.
We remember several people who slipped this mortal coil.
Yeah. Starting rumors.
Redheads, green power rings, and a mutant or two thrown in for good measure.
Oh my. And of course, the download.
Someone told DC Studios to start talking.
Yeah, but before we get into all of that and get into all the fun and things that we're doing, but first, let me get a shout out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by the good folks over at Dubby. That's right. Dubby is a brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. Dubby contains no maltodextrin, no sugars, no fillers, no artificial colors or dyes. And for those of you who care about this sort of thing, it might be keto friendly. Deliciousness, all that kind of thing right there.
No more kale.
No more kale. Now, W contains Neurofactor. Neurofactor helps give your brain focus and clarity, while the 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins help you stay alert and energized. Find out more about W at www.w.gg and use the code NERDING10 to get 10% off, because the 20% off is now over.
Because it's October 1st.
Because it is October 1st. But still, you can still get in on that W deliciousness, guys. Everything W has is great, and I've yet to find something that is not good from them.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah?
Did you know that Distance Nerding is on Comic-Con Radio?
I did not, but before we get into Distance Nerding being on Comic-Con Radio, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Geek End Update. So tell me more about this.
Distance Nerding being on Comic-Con Radio.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I know.
Look for the Distance Nerding podcast, even this very episode, and our second show, A Comic Conversation, each week on comiccon-radio.com/podcast. Pop that in the chat for me, Filio.
I shall. Give me a moment here, because I have to copy and paste. Should have had this ready already. At least it's not, failure on the level of Liam.
No, yeah, that's true. That's just not. I mean, it's
If you weren't there for that episode, you
got to go back and watch that episode. That was
back,
really funny.
Watch or listen or however you need to get back to that. It was pretty funny. And it is forever a running joke on this show. So
yes, it was unexpected comedy at its best.
Exactly. So now that we've talked about Comic-Con Radio, let's talk about an event where we're going to be seeing Comic-Con Radio at. Ladies and gentlemen, the next live event you can see us at is in a week. Oh, that's right. It is time for LA Comic-Con. All the fun that we have there. LA Comic-Con this weekend, October 4th through the 6th, at the LA Convention Center.
In Los Alamos, right?
Sure.
LA, Los Alamos.
Oh, Los Alamos. Okay.
Yeah.
No, Los Angeles.
Oh, City of Angels.
Yes,
okay.
City of Angels, right. LA Comic-Con is featuring the likes of the wonderful people that we are going to name off here. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Rosario Dawson, Michael J. Fox, Giancarlo Esposito, Christopher Lloyd, Hayden Panettiere, Tara Strong, Ming-Na Wen, Lee Thompson, Pa Sung-Hyun Lee, Daniel Logan, our friend of the show, Daniel Logan, Amy Jo Johnson, Jenny Kwan, Olivia Hack. So many people are going to be there. And it is going to be a great time. Now, we're also going to be meeting up with all the friends of the show. Comics Podcast is going to be there. Geek Saga Podcast is going to be there. Our good friends over at Project Wish Upon a Star are going to be there. Logan Winter, the sensation, the internet sensation Logan Winter is going to be there. Sat Geeks, Bex is going to be there. Christy Shin, and so many more friends that we have that roam around at LA Comic-Con. We are going to be having a great time, and hopefully we get a bunch of good interviews while we're there.
Yeah, I mean, LA Comic-Con's a fun time, just in general. And a lot of the guests live in LA. So it's not like, they can just go. It's not a huge deal for them. So
exactly.
So it's nice. And they do it seems to be a little bit more relaxed than, say, a San Diego Comic-Con. So that's nice.
It definitely is. It's still a big con. So I mean, the way that the show runs is still very big, very kind of, it's a scaled down San Diego for sure.
Yeah, I would say if San Diego is S tier, then they would be A tier. I mean, absolutely.
They make announcements at LA Comic-Con the same way that they do at San Diego. They're just like smaller ones. Last year they did the announcements for all of the Lord of the Rings movies at
that's right. Yeah.
At LA Comic-Con, and we were there. So I mean,
I think of LA Comic-Con as like Baltimore, like the Baltimore Con, and like New York, those level. And New York's huge. I mean, I'm not saying it like it's just when you can get bigger than San Diego, but why would you? Because that thing's just grotesquely enormous.
Right.
Con-wise, whoa, that was interesting. I was like, hey, I'm in a circle.
It's a new feature, I guess.
I don't feel targeted at all in this circle.
I guess it's a new feature, so I was like, oh, I didn't notice this before. Okay, well, so it's kind of cool.
If y'all don't know that Phil's ADHD, now you do. He's like, what's this button do?
The other thing is I'm in full HD now, so I'm in
okay.
my camera can now broadcast in full 1080p, which is kind of cool. They just did a whole bunch of new updates on stuff.
Nobody hi James. He says nobody puts baby in a circle. Nobody.
Sandra Betty said you're in the loop.
There we go. Oh, that's very on brand for us though, Sandra. That's like
oh, here's another thing. Check it out. So if I do that, we can do rounded corners.
Oh, look at that. It's like old-timey photos.
I like it. I like this stuff. It makes us look a little cooler. I'm just so like amazed with all this.
And easily entertained.
Yes. Very easily entertained.
And we're both really trying hard to put off this next segment that we have. I think that's why we're
so guys. We're gonna move into this next segment. I'm very, very, very sad that we're doing this, but we've had so much happen over the last week that we couldn't just do it in segments within the download. So we set up a new segment just for this week in place of Lights Camera Reaction, and we are doing a new segment called In Memoriam. So we are going to get into this. I'm not going to do anything too crazy with this. I'm actually going to turn off the music just because it's I feel like that would be respectful. So, right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the respectful thing for us to do is to turn off the music. So in memoriam, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the actors and the performers and entertainers that we've lost over the last week. Some of these names are people that they mean a lot to not only us but to a lot of the fans that are out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's definitely a lot going on. A couple of these people were names that we got today, to include one that I wasn't able to add to the list that I'm going to mention at the end here. But yeah, there's a lot, and it's a little hard to take considering everything that's going on with everything. So we'll start with our first name that we're going to do here. This one was a shocking one for me. I didn't realize.
Yeah, Dikembe Mutombo. Yeah.
Dikembe Mutombo, NBA All-Star, legendary basketball player. I mean, to a point where his name is mentioned and almost everybody knows who Dikembe Mutombo was.
He was there at the start of that second big man era.
Right.
And I mean, and he dominated a lot. So yeah, I got to see him play against the Spurs.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. But he will be missed. I had no idea he had brain cancer. Apparently he'd been suffering from it for a while.
Right.
But yeah, 58 is too young.
It definitely is.
Definitely. So, and like this next one, we knew she was slowing down.
Yeah, this one hit me in the chest pretty hard.
Yeah, Dame Maggie Smith.
Dame Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
This one was, well, again, it kind of hit me kind of hard. It's not like I wasn't expecting it at some point, but at the same time, it hurts, Yeah.
Especially absolutely.
That she's been a part of,
Yeah, and she just had she did so much. She is beloved stage. She did a lot of stage productions, and she did, and she was in Harry Potter, of course, Downton Abbey, who I adored her in Downton Abbey. She did the movie with all of the like her, Helen Mirren. Was she in that, or was that just her and Judi Dench? Anyway, she does a lot. She used to do a lot of stuff with Helen Mirren and Judi Dench,
Right.
where they would play older women and they would get into wacky things, or it was just was just such a set piece
Right.
of theater and movies for 50 decades.
Right. And Sandra Betty in the chat saying I knew her as Granny Wendy. It's funny, when we were talking yesterday, I was talking with Jackie and Tater yesterday. And we were talking about, I saw a meme of Robin Williams meeting her at Heaven's Gate and saying, welcome home, Miss Wendy lady. And I forgot that she played Wendy in Hook.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and yeah, she's done so much, and there's, and she also voiced characters. Like she did it all.
Right.
And she did it all with grace and aplomb. That's all I'm going to say. Aplomb.
Yeah. So rest in peace to Dame Judi Dench. Next on the list here, Chris Christopherson was another one that hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, I was shocked by this too. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, yeah, he was 88. Like, Judi Dench was 89. He was 88. But
right.
I still hadn't heard anything. Apparently, he has he had a relationship with Taylor Swift. Like, they were close.
Yeah.
And I think her music helped. So yeah, that's what I learned today about him. But yeah,
it's funny about this one. Like, I will admit, because I didn't listen to a lot of country when I was younger. Mm-hmm. My first knowing of Chris Christopherson was Blade.
Oh yeah, okay. I knew him because of A Star Is Born, the original with Streisand, and yeah, so.
And then I really got into his music, and I was just like, oh man, these guys are dope.
Yeah,
the Highwaymen were good.
Yes, no, he was his songwriting was amazing, and the way that he just was really good at the guitar. He was really good for him at the guitar. He knew how to play for himself. And that sometimes you can have musicians that are really good musicians, but they don't know how to play for themselves as singers. So
now this next one was actually broke to me in a group chat this morning from Sandra Betty. And we had to confirm this one because she was like, no, it's not real. This has got to be a joke. And I had to look it up, and it actually was reported from multiple sources. So I always corroborate anytime that we get these names. Like, is it a hoax or is it actually the person passing? And this one was a big deal because I had just talked to him a couple months ago, and he agreed to come on the show. And he didn't seem like he was that bad. But the next person we're talking about here is Ken Page, the voice of Oogie Boogie. Also, he was a Broadway just legend. The guy was all over the place when it comes to when it comes to just Broadway and being on stage. Amazing voice, very distinct in the way that he sang. Had that very just kind of jazz voice to him, and he was just an amazing performer.
Yeah, it's sad. I saw it on Reddit, and so and I was just like, oh gosh, I'm like, but yeah, he was 70, and if he was okay in August, it had to have been something that hit him quickly, or it was something that he just didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like he was fine when we talked to him in August, and I mean, you never know what people are going through. So I mean,
yeah. And then somebody else from stage and Broadway, Gavin Creel, died He's a Tony Award-winning Broadway star, but he died from cancer.
Right.
He was 48.
This one is particularly sad, given that he is the youngest person on the list that we're talking here.
Yeah.
48. You know, he was not that old. But cancer is terrible, and it does what it does.
Yeah, and so it's just I'm like, so, but so Broadway has few less lights today because of that. David Graham, which I didn't realize that he did both Peppa Pig and he was the voice of the Daleks on Doctor Who. That's like really, I don't think of those together.
Right.
He was 99. The man's been working for a while. We understand that, but still, it's very sad that he passed away. But
who named Peppa Pig?
There's just a star of Peppa Pig. I don't know. I don't think he was Peppa.
Yeah, I know that.
Maybe it was her brother.
I'm gonna look it up now.
Okay.
I mean, I knew the name more so for the Daleks.
Yeah, I recognized it because of that, but then I was like, Peppa Pig? So
he played Grandpa Pig.
Oh, Grandpa Pig. Okay. Yeah. All right. That makes more sense.
Right. No, he's definitely not Peppa. But yeah, no, again, very, very, very sad. Now this one was another one that I didn't realize happened until I was actually looking up, like, you know, deaths for the week.
Yeah.
Tito Jackson.
Yeah.
And again, just same age as Ken Page. He was 70.
Yeah.
Not realizing, you know, that Mike's older brother also passed away, and he passed away from a heart attack. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
age. Ugh.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you know, just again, Tito Jackson looked like he was in good shape. Again, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Right.
Like literally never know. And then Robert Watts, who produced Star Wars and Indiana Jones, he died today as well. He was 86. So
now, and again, just some of the things that Robert Watts was a part of were just these massive franchises. You know, he was
well, Star Wars was such a gamble too.
Yeah.
So because nobody'd ever done anything like that. So to the scale that Lucas did. But yeah, I mean, and then he must have really enjoyed the experience because he went on to do the Indiana Jones stuff, and Lucas was involved in those too. So
and he was involved in a lot of things. Those are just some the larger franchises that he was a part of.
Probably like the most easily recognizable.
Right. So. Now this one again, another one that kind of hits hard that I didn't realize happened. John Amos passed away, who famous for Good Times, Roots, West Wing. He's a very recognizable face. It's one of those actors that when you see him, you know who he is. You may not know.
And he's stage actor too. He did a lot of theater. So.
Right. Like John Amos is another one that that I just kind of was unprepared for.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, even though he was 84, it's like certain people just kind of get frozen in your mind. Of who they are. And you're like, well, they'll never die. Nope. So, and then, yeah, but we got hit by a lot of that this week.
And the last one, again, this is another one that happened that was announced today. This one is more so Jackie's into the show American Pickers, right? And I don't know anybody else who's watching or listening right now. If you're into American Pickers, you may or may not know about this. But you know, Mike Wolf and Frank, the hosts, apparently Frank passed away last night.
That's
from American Pickers. And that's, again, it's another sad thing. He was definitely the color on the show, you know, because he was always finding all the weird deals, and he was always in competition with Mike and everything like that. Mike being, you know, obviously the dude who I mean, both of them were kind of the stars of the show, but like, you always kind of like the guy who you kind of feel is in charge all the time is usually going to be like Mike's the guy who feels like he's in charge.
Yeah.
Right. But Frank was always the, kind of like the fun one, the things he was always looking for toys, like old toys and stuff. And yeah, man, he's just another one that was just kind of a sad loss,
And unexpected.
Unexpected. Right. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for In Memoriam. Let's give this a moment here just to acknowledge all the names that we just mentioned. Rest in peace. May they all rest in peace.
Yes, absolutely. I want to thank all of them for enhancing people's lives,
right?
In some form or fashion, enhancing people's lives,
right? So. And being the entertainment to help us get away from our own lives when it was needed. So,
hey, so on a good medical note, I got my blood work back, and I'm good. I actually just like everything. It's great.
I'm about to change the mood right now.
It's really hard to transition out of something like that, guys. So
yeah, I know, right? So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting into the rumors. Let's start some rumors.
I don't know where they get in their nose, but some rumors way true.
All right, that's it for that. Let's jump into this, ladies and gentlemen.
I think you should do this one.
Oh, absolutely. Spider-Man, the adultier adult. What a tangled web we weave. I love how long that was. A new rumor claims a deal might be happening between Marvel and Sony concerning our Peter Parker. The last glimpse of Peter Parker was 3 years ago in Spider-Man No Way Home, when he had lost all of the people closest to him and was entering a very sad new phase in his life where nobody knew who he was.
Literally.
Yeah, I know. It's very sad. Tom Holland's Spider-Man might be able to appear in numerous projects. The deal will give Marvel head Kevin Feige the freedom to fully control the solo projects of Holland's Spider-Man. Oh my God, that would be such an amazing deal.
Yes.
The deal will allow Holland's Spider-Man to make appearances in the MCU, but also cross over to Sony's Spider-Man universe. So here are some of the MCU projects fans could get a chance to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man in. The rumors suggest that the chances are high that Holland's Spider-Man could be part of the two big Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. He could also become a mentor to the young Avengers, like Iron Man and Chris Evans' Captain America did for him. So tacos on the table. Will we get more Spidey in the MCU?
I think we're going to get an extra helping of Spidey. My tacos are on the table for that.
Absolutely. I agree. I say my tacos are on the table 100%. We are definitely going to be getting more Spider-Man. It is much needed. We definitely need more Spider-Man going on here. So
I really like the second rumory thing, that the mentor to the young Avengers. I kind of love that.
Yeah, no, and that would be amazing just to see Spider-Man kind of be more of a mentor and being a mentor role. Like, that would be great. I think we need more of that. Especially like, okay, so if we're getting Peter Parker in that role, does that mean we start transitioning over and start getting Miles Morales?
Yeah, so I think that might be it. I think if they do the mentor to the young Avengers, like if they go that route, then yes, absolutely. I think that, because then we start seeing, maybe Peter wants to settle down and he wants to, become, family man, father, that kind of thing. And I think that could happen and have Miles come into it. I think, yeah.
Maybe he does meet Mary Jane Watson at this point, right? Like, you kind of get like that whole love arc, especially now that MJ doesn't know who he is anymore.
Yeah, either they're gonna bring it back to where she can remember him, or he's going to meet somebody else.
Right. I think what they're going to possibly do is have MJ, like him trying, like, like rekindle with MJ, but it just kind of doesn't work. And he ends up meeting Mary Jane Watson in the process.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah. I think that would just be a cool way to transition to Mary Jane Watson, and you also get all the fanboys to shut up.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
I don't care personally, but
I think it's great, the whole situation with MJ, but again, you tend to get a lot of these fanboys that are pissed. But it's not Mary Jane Watson. Her name is MJ, but it's not Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, and it did what it was supposed to do. It got Zendaya and Tom Holland together, and that's what we all wanted.
That was the plan from the beginning.
Exactly. That was the long con. Zendaya and Tommy Boy.
And we know that that's all they were trying to do. So, Feige, mission accomplished. Let's go ahead and move on to the next rumor here.
Okay, but shh, it's a secret war.
But is it?
According to vetted industry scooper MTTSH, Sir Patrick Stewart will reprise his role as the original big screen Papa Daddy Prof. Charles X, Professor Charles Xavier in Secret Wars. I just feel like he's so stuffy if you say Professor Charles Xavier. And so that's why I wanted to make him a little more street. Sorry.
But I mean, that is Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier is kind of stuffy.
I know. Look, I'm trying to change his brand. It's 2024. All right. Stewart made his MCU debut as Professor X of Earth 838 in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Just so long to say that. Yeah. In which he came to an abrupt end at the hands of the Scarlet Witch. So yay! And we thought that would be the last we saw of the Star Trek legend in this role. But does anyone really die in Marvel or the MCU?
Right.
No. Secret Wars plot details are still a mystery, but there have been plenty of rumors doing the rounds. One thing we do know for sure is that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom will play a big part in the story after making his debut in Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday arrives in theaters May 1st of 2026, followed by Avengers Secret Wars on May 7th of 2027. Both films will be directed by the Russo brothers, who also make their MCU return after helming both Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. So, tacos on the table. Will everyone's favorite professor return?
Absolutely. My tacos are on the table 100%. I think that they know that you can't really get anybody better than Patrick Stewart, than Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. He really is Xavier. There's like that was probably the only thing I enjoyed in the X-Men movies was he is the closest thing to Xavier as that you can get for anybody.
And they people were saying it for years before he even got it. Because he was on Star Trek Next Generation, and they were like, this guy on Star Trek Next Generation would be amazing as Professor Xavier. He looks just like him, So.
Sir Patrick Stewart should be Professor X. Make it so.
Right, exactly. He wasn't Sir back then, but yes, But so yeah, I mean, he is. It's like Kevin Conroy's Batman. Everybody's like, no, he's the voice of Batman. Patrick Stewart is Professor Xavier, and I feel like, the whole Hugh Jackman's going to play Wolverine till he's 90, that whole thing.
It's probably
right. No, it probably will happen. But what I'm saying is I think that's what's going to happen. Professor X will be played by Patrick Stewart until Patrick Stewart can no longer physically do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So. When Patrick Stewart can no longer move.
Right. Yeah.
Even then, they'll just be like, no, it's in character. It's fine.
Yeah. It's no, he's supposed to not be able to walk. So here we go.
Yeah. He'll be like, yeah, no, it's fine, but I can't move.
Right. I'm just doing this to you.
My legs are done.
But I'm not done with you. So my talk is around the table. So yeah, we can move on.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next rumor. Again, I'm very excited for this because we're bringing Daywalking back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios' Blade reboot has been ice skating uphill in terms of development since it was announced 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The movie has gone through many directors and many writers, with the last filmmaker, Jan de Mange, leaving the project several months ago. Hope could be on the horizon as Marvel seems to be zeroing in on a new director. The World of Reel's Jordan Rumi says that the studio recently met with several potential directors, and James Samuel impressed the Marvel brass. Samuel previously helmed the Netflix Western The Harder They Fall and the recent revisionist religious epic The Book of Clarence. It's also mentioned that the latest draft of the script, written by Eric Pearson, who was the sixth writer to work on the project after Michael Green, Stacey Osei Kofer, Michael Starbury, Bo DeMaio, and Nick Pizzolatto, has finally satisfied everyone involved. And at this point, we know why Bo DeMaio is probably not on the project. As much as Bo would have been an amazing writer, he kind of got himself in some trouble. So Mahershala Ali is still attached to the film, so we could see it meet its return shoot date of November 1st, and it will be rated R, which I'm all for. Yes. Especially after seeing what how Disney handles a rated R comic book movie.
Yeah.
Deadpool was amazing. I give them all the reign to do a rated R Blade movie now. Marvel and Disney have spent millions of dollars on Blade through the development and pre-production process, so hopefully they will figure this out soon and get this production up and running. So, tacos on the table. Will we ever daywalk again, or are we stuck with Morbius?
Well, my tacos are on the table. I think that this could happen. And Book of Clarence is funny and esoteric and understood the assignment. So I think that I think it would be a good thing. So my tacos are on the table on that. No, we do not want to get stuck with Morbius.
Absolutely not. Yes, Sewong, here comes the gore. It's going to be everything that we want it to be, as long as they get the right writers on there. Yeah. And I mean, there is still the rumor that they're still trying to do another Blade property with Wesley Snipes. So I mean, like, it's going to be interesting to see, how they do that. Do they do a multiverse movie? Is it leading into the rest of what they're doing with Marvel? Does this end up being its own kind of like thing on the side where like we're seeing why Blade hasn't emerged until now? All those things like that. My tacos on the table. My tacos are on the table. I feel like they're finally starting to move into the right direction. I don't think Disney wants to let this go. Like, you have someone like Mahershala Ali, who is an amazing actor. I think he could kill it as Blade.
Yeah, and he's so bankable. Like, he's absolutely. He will make money for your studio.
Absolutely will. I think that they need to, at least as a producer, have Wesley Snipes involved. So then that way, because Wesley Snipes was also part of the development team for those first couple Blade movies. So I mean, like, he's definitely somebody who knows the character. To an extent that he did change a lot for the character. He made him American. He changed his background story and everything like that. But everything he did was for the good of the character.
Yeah, I think so too. I still am not a huge fan of his, that. But I would like to see, if he wants to do another Blade movie and it can happen, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I again, the guy is the original creator of Blade. It's so much so that Marvel loved his changes so much that they changed the character in the comics.
Yeah.
Like, they loved what he did with it. And again, as a fan of the comics, as a fan of everything in that realm, I love what they did with that character and kind of how they changed. Again, we were talking about Chris Christopherson earlier. Chris Christopherson's version of Whistler was amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think that I think it's happening because Marvel doesn't want to let this one go. The other rumor, aside from this director, was also that Jordan Peele was interested. So I mean, Jordan Peele knows horror, he knows comedy, he knows all kinds of different things, and he's also a massive nerd. So I mean, I think he would do justice to Blade if it were him.
Yeah. I'm glad we're getting information about, like, rumors about it again, because it has kind of been in development hell.
Right.
So
it really has,
which is much worse than MCU hell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So moving on here.
So we want more unanswerable questions that break our brains.
Absolutely.
So I said that to Husby, and he looked at me like, what does that mean? I was like, ship of Theseus. And he was like, no, it doesn't work. So I kept it in though. So.
Oh God.
Marvel Studios' Vision series has reportedly cast James Darcy and as Jarvis, and Carrie Condon as Friday in the series. And they're going to be live action versions of these characters, so they're going to be like real, like, people,
right?
So Carrie Condon voiced Friday,
right,
in No Way Home. Right? Was that No Way Home? Spider-Man
yes.
No Way Home? Okay.
It was.
And Darcy played Edwin Jarvis in the the original Jarvis in ABC's Agent Carter series.
Right.
So that's where, and then he played Jarvis in Endgame when they went back in time.
Right.
He was in that too.
He was driving his dad's car, right?
Right, he was the driver. So it's yet to be seen how these characters will be utilized in the series, but the project is described as the third part of a trilogy that started with WandaVision and continues in Agatha all along. So the series will center on the Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity. So it could come to that because, like, Friday might be his memory part of it, and Edwin Jarvis might be humanity part of it.
Right.
So it could be that. That's kind of what I thought when I read that. So I was like, oh, it could be that. While the focus of the series will be on Vision, there's also a possibility for Wanda Maximoff to appear, which would make sense since, I mean, they've kind of been connected since the beginning of their MCU.
Right. And I mean, they're connected
careers
too. So I mean, like, it's
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was just a little bit different in the comics, but hey, whatever. Right. The series is being developed by Star Trek Picard executive producer Terry Matalas, who will serve as showrunner on the project. So talk is on the table. Will we get a new Vision or just cataracts from this series?
That's a good joke. On the table. I do think that they're going to be. It makes sense to have them in here, especially considering that Vision is essentially, a beefed up Jarvis, right?
Yeah.
So you get, if Vision's creating characters from his mind and like just things that have been interconnected to him in some way. I mean, of course, Friday being his predecessor or his replacement, and Jarvis being his predecessor, it's like that's his past and his future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also it could be like if they both have something to teach him.
Right. And then also James Spader coming back as Ultron, supposed to be like a live, like a human version of Ultron. Again, that technically is his son.
Yeah. And I could see that. Oh, this could get really weird.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of weirdness that can happen. Of course, Paul Bettany coming back as Vision. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of weirdness that can happen. But I mean, I think that given that they're basically taking elements of Vision Quest, where he created his own family, he created his kids, he created another version of Wanda. We do know that
He might, and they could do that if they just did it digitally. Like,
right.
yeah, I think that instead of, but in his mind and how he sees it, they'll look human, but it'll be like they did in Agents of Shield. Remember, they went into the whatever it was, and they all were different people, and
Right.
Madam Hydra was there.
Which is funny because now we have Madam Hydra in the MCU, but
Yeah.
Like with all this too, though, I think that one of the rumors that we reported on a couple weeks ago is that Elizabeth Olsen is coming back, but she's not playing Wanda.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure she's just playing the synthesoid version of Wanda.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. And it's all about family anyway. And I could see that where Vision thinks of Jarvis as his father,
right,
and thinks of Friday as his daughter. And so I could see that,
right,
being a
right. And again, James Spader will be the wacky neighbor.
Uncle Ultron.
Right. Oh God, man.
And then we'll have an Agatha All Along spinoff again.
It's so good, though. It's so good.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Well, in rumors in regard to abandoning your children, mutants always making us wait. According to a report from Nexus Point News, the release of Marvel Animation's X-Men 97 has been pushed back to 2026, and that angers me. The reason is season 2 is undergoing rewrites. It was previously reported after showrunner Bo DeMaio was fired that Marvel has removed DeMaio's executive producer credit for X-Men 97 season 2, and the company was rewriting most of the new season so they can remove DeMaio's writing credit as well. Not too happy with that. I mean, I get Bo DeMaio he's problematic, and there's like things that he did supposedly, allegedly, the things that are alleged that he did are absolutely terrible, but at the same time, he's a good writer. I hate to give him credit, but he's a good writer. Anyways, when talking about that, and what scares me is it's not going to be as good.
I could see that, but then it was good before Bo. Come on.
But like the way he brought it back and the way that he integrated the new storylines with, making it exactly, giving it the same exact feel as the original. Like, I'm just afraid they're going to get another writer that's not as good. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Sae-Wong says that too.
Yeah.
He's like, you're telling us.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that we should forget the terrible things that he's accused of.
Right.
But at the same time,
why do double work?
That's where I'm torn. Is like, yeah, you did a lot of bad things, but you're also a really good writer.
But he wrote all of that before we knew he did bad things.
Right.
So you could still use it.
Right. He wrote season 2 before we knew he did bad things.
Right. I mean, he was doing bad things at the time, or maybe. But
he was allegedly sending nudes to people. So
yeah, nobody needs to know that or see it.
Yeah. Nope. So when talking about the second season of X-Men 97, executive producer Brad Winderbaum teased that it's going to include 2 new X teams. He said there's many teams in Marvel that have the letter X that are followed by a hyphen. I would put it to you like this. There's 2 other X teams in season 2, probably X-Force. Winderbaum, especially because they have all the characters for X-Force, but Winderbaum also offered an update on the process of developing season 2, saying it's still an animatic phase. Animation takes so long to make, as I'm sure you all know. There was a great bit about this in Invincible season 2. They just nailed it so hard. It is the greatest. And it takes a long time because the studio wants to see how successful the first season is before they greenlight the second season. There's a lag. We were lucky enough to get the green light before we aired, so there's maybe less of a lag. People are going to have to be patient with us. So tacos on the table. What teams do you want to see in season 2?
Well, I think as Michael Ferris is saying, X Factor.
Yeah.
X Factor, and I agree. I think X Force.
Yeah, those are the two that came to mind for me.
Yeah. I want Excalibur, but that's an EX, and so I don't think that they're even thinking about that because, like, we've got Nightcrawler.
Excalibur could be cool. I mean, originally Captain Britain's in the universe. He was in one of the earlier seasons, so we know you have that. There's a lot of the British characters that are still around and everything like that. I mean, it's not hard to introduce the ones that aren't there. So Excalibur could be a group that they introduce. Again, X Force and X Factor are really easy to do because you already have so many of those characters, right? Like the majority of X Force is already there.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely see that. Or they're gonna split it into like the gold and blue teams, like they had there for the '90s for a while in the comics.
Well, they're saying that they're doing other X teams, so I think it's more than just the X-Men. Like it's more than just the, those the gold and the blue teams. I think that they are going
right, which is why I think X Factor, because X Factor was originally the original team. And then X-Men was the newbies.
Right. And then maybe they do like New Mutants or something like that, and we get Wolverine, or the Wolverine, we get Deadpool.
Yeah, there you
go. Right. So yeah, again, just if my guests were out there, it'd be X-Force and X Factor.
Yeah, I think so. I think those are pretty like middle of the road guesses too anyway, but I couldn't see why they would do any others. So, but you never know. You never know.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to this next rumor here.
And I was hoping you'd get to do this one, but I will do this one.
It's all good.
Everyone get those customizable ponchos ready.
Because they're so good.
According to reliable movie insider Daniel Rickman, Cal Kestis is coming to live action on Disney Plus.
Yes! Waiting for this for so long.
I know. Kestis, the main protagonist from the Star Wars Jedi video game franchise, is a popular character. Understatement. Fans have been hoping for a live-action version with Cameron Monaghan reprising the role. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy talked about the possibility of a live-action Cal Kestis project, saying, "I've seen a lot of chatter online about that." Laughs. It could be really interesting. It's not something that's front and center right at the moment, but what's interesting in the company that we do is that everybody across all these different lines of business, we all talk to one another. I don't know what she was saying there. I don't even know if she knows what she was saying there. Well, one thing we do know is that the final chapter of the game franchise is currently in development. So when that series ends, his live action story could pick up after those events. So talk was on the table. Will we finally get a Ginger Jedi in live action?
Absolutely. I honestly think that it might go the route. Well, no, because Cameron Monaghan's getting a little bit older. I'm not saying that he's old, but I mean, like, he's older than his character is in the games. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe they tell that story of how he becomes a smuggler at the beginning of the first game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're looking at Cameron Monaghan being significantly older than his character in the game is.
Yeah.
Like if he were still the same age as he was, like say when he was in Shameless,
right?
Then it might.
Yeah, then yeah, I could see it being like him being like at the beginning of Cal Kestis's journey,
right? But I mean, I guess it does. It kind of depends on where the story goes in the third game. Like if he dies at the end of the third game, then we got to figure out where it's going from there. It's got to be something in between.
Yeah. But if he doesn't, then you could do something after.
Yeah, and again, this all takes place like you could easily have something where Cal interacts with the Mandalorian.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say, where is Cal in the timeline? So is he like after Return of the Jedi?
Actually, no. I think he's before. I think he's before New Hope.
Okay, so because he was part of the Academy, he was like one of the later,
right?
The Jedi Academy. Okay,
right. So
Um,
he was a youngling when everything went down. He was one of the few younglings that survived.
so then hit the game series is kind of taking place New Hope.
It's before New Hope, after Revenge of the Sith. So
Okay, so it's in that era. So it'd be like Clone Wars era or Bad Batch era.
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. It's like more Bad
Okay.
Batch. But I mean, still,
No, he could still be around.
yeah. I mean, they haven't established when Din Djarin took the oath.
Yeah. But it was after Return of the Jedi, so it's like we know it's well, not that oath, but you know what I mean. Like we know he lives in that time frame, and he's supposed to be in his 30s, so he may have been born like the year the no, he would have been born during like probably Empire Strikes Back ish times. So
yeah, so maybe we aren't going to see a crossover with Din Djarin and Cal Kestis, but I mean, we can see Cal Kestis, running into, say, a Han Solo or like a young Han Solo, or Cal Kestis interacting with a lot of the characters that are pre-Jedi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, not pre-Jedi, pre-New Hope.
Or even like, I mean, he could have interacted. Well, yeah, I mean, I was gonna say he could have interacted with like Boba Fett.
Right. It would
there are characters he could have,
It would be. I mean, if anything, where we're gonna see him interacting is like, I'd like to see him interact with the Rebellion.
Yes, me too.
You know, and then we see him with General Leia. We see him with maybe. Actually, you know what? You could see him in an Andor crossover.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say it would be cool if Rogue One ish.
Yeah, like he interacts with the character from that timeline.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I could see them doing something like that. Okay, all right. We fanboyed and fangirled about this enough.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on here.
You get to read this one. I'm happy about this.
Yeah, because Earth needs a space cop. Oh, yeah. Earlier this week, it was announced that Kyle Chandler is Green Lantern Hal Jordan in DC Studios' upcoming HBO series Lanterns. We now are hearing about one actor who's reportedly up for the role of John Stewart. According to MTTSH. Jackson Idris is one of 5 actors being considered for the role of John Stewart. Idris is a British actor who is best known for playing the lead in John Singleton's crime drama Snowfall, which debuted on FX in 2017 and ended in 2023 after 6 seasons. He also played the co-lead in Netflix's 2021 sci-fi action film Outside the Wire. The series will focus on a new recruit, John Stewart, and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, 2 intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. The project is being developed by Ozark's Chris Mundy, Watchmen's Damon Lindelof. It's already going to be good. Just both of those guys are amazing. And comic book writer Tom King. This is going to be good. Tom King is an amazing writer. Damon Lindelof is a really good producer. Chris Mundy is really good with his show. So I'm all for this right now. When talking about the 8-episode series, DC Studios co-chairman and co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran said, John Stewart and Hal Jordan are 2 of DC's most compelling characters. You are not giving any credit to Kyle. Kyle Rayner is the best Green Lantern.
Yes, he is. You're preaching to the choir.
Exactly. And I'm sure if Matt Aguilar was in the chat right now, he would be agreeing with me right now. I would say John Stewart is one of the more compelling characters, though. Fuego in my T-Pain voice. That's on the Instagram chat. And Lanterns bringing them to life in an original detective story that is a foundational part of the unified DCU we're launching next summer with Superman. Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, who will make his debut in Gunn's Superman reboot, is expected to have a supporting role in the series. Stephen Williams, who was a part of Lost, Watchmen, and Westworld, is reportedly in talks to direct and the pilot, and production on Lanterns is currently set to commence in early 2025 in the United Kingdom. So, tacos on the table. Are we finally getting our John Stewart?
Yes.
That's where
All right, let's move on. No, tacos. Yeah, my tacos are on the table. I think it's great. I think the series is shaping up. I had to do the thing. Sorry, shaping up to be a really good series. I think of all of the projects, Green Lantern will be the best as a series and not like movie, because it just lends itself to that. So.
Absolutely. And again, we were talking about it last week, but like, you get the squirrel shows up, Kilowog has to show up. It's like at some point Kilowog needs to be in the series.
Oh, definitely. I like that they're saying it's like this is like a detective story,
right?
And it's like, okay, all right, okay.
Well, like, if they're going the same route that Penguin is, even though Penguin's not in universe, but I mean, like, if they're going the same route as Penguin, then this is going to be great.
Yeah, like more down to earth, not as like we're space cops. Yeah, it's just
Oh God, Say Wong said, "How is the best?" End of story. No, Kyle Rayner is the best Green Lantern. I don't care. Anyone can argue that with me. Kyle Rayner is the best Green Lantern. Hands down. Hal Jordan, I was going to say, Hal Jordan Ion? Well, he kind of was for a little bit. But I mean, like, still, Kyle Rayner's still better. He was Vanguard for a little while before Parallax took him over completely. But I think this is going to be a great story. I think that you're going to get the kind of old grizzled cop with Hal Jordan. You're going to get the new youngness with John Stewart, and you're going to get that fucking wacky jackass cop out of
Guy Gardner.
Because that's what you need. You need Guy Gardner to be kind of a dick. So I mean, like, that's
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's kind of like that cop that walks in and is like, "I'm better than you, and I know it."
Oh, and Kilowog can be their crotchety boss.
Kilowog is their lieutenant.
He's the Lou. And it's like, come on, Lou, stop busting my balls.
Come on, Kill. Stop busting my balls.
There you go, see?
Damn it, Hal. You destroyed half a planet block. Destroyed half a city block.
Right.
So yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for what this is going to be. Again, John Stewart for the longest time was one of my favorite Green Lanterns. And then I got a hold of Kyle Rayner, and I was like, Kyle Rayner is the best.
Yeah, I liked, and I really liked when John got powered back up, and he and Kyle would team up and do stuff, because I thought that they really did a lot, and it was like where Kyle was kind of like reckless, and John was the more sane voice of the two. That was always kind of cool. I like.
I'm curious how far down the rabbit hole they're going to get with John.
I don't know.
Are they going to do 70s John at some point? Because that was both a messed up but compelling story.
Yeah,
because he overcomes a lot to be a leader.
Yeah, that I don't know how they're gonna do it. But if he's like the new guy, probably not for a while.
Yeah, I mean, if they do like 90s John Stewart, then they probably won't do heroin addiction John Stewart, and
no,
like you're gonna have the Marine / architect, and he's just like a genius, but he's also just like a really good leader.
Yeah,
you got to remember he ran Justice League for a while when Superman was out of the picture. So, and then Hawk Girl did too. But I mean, like,
yeah, and then they got together, and then that was a total thing and a mess. And ugh.
But I mean, their son is badass though. For in Justice Society,
yeah,
was Warhawk.
Yeah, Warhawk. Yeah.
Warhawk is dope. I thought he was one of the coolest characters. Like, it's for a character that was created for that show. I was like,
that
wow,
that
that's
was cool.
so good, you know. But yes, that is it for this rumor. Let's go ahead and move on to the last one here.
And first, I just have to say this. James, do you ever sleep? Because now he's going to do a comic, apparently. All right. So, according to Bleeding Cool, James Gunn is planning to write his own comic for a 2025 release.
Of course he is.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the guy has so much time. All right. The news comes out of Baltimore Comic-Con from senior comic book industry executives who should be in a position to know such things. That's not like vague. All right. Neither Gunn nor DC Comics responded to the site when asked to comment, but it's speculated that the comic could be a Superman story written by Gunn with artwork by Jim Lee, because you know he's like the president publisher, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but still, like,
that would be amazing.
Written by James Gunn and artwork done by Jim Lee. That would be the most epic comic ever.
Yeah, it would be really. I really would love it. I think it probably will happen, but it would make sense for DC Comics to release a prequel or tie-in comic to the upcoming Superman movie starring David Corenswet,
the man who makes Corenswet.
Yep. They have done it. They've done both before. So if it turns out to be true, it will be interesting to see what Gunn is planning. As of right now, none of this is confirmed. So talk was on the table. What comic would we want to see from Gunn?
I think if Gunn did do this, like this is where my tacos would be on the table. If Gunn went this route and did something like this, he is going to basically fill out the world before you get to the movie. So it's probably going to talk about like the relationships with the characters,
like the moment before,
right? But like kind of more like doing more of the world building, right? Because remember, he's saying that it's already a lived-in world. Superheroes already exist. Superman's deep into his career as Superman. You know, like Clark is. They're going. It's going in the storyline is starting in the middle of a world that already exists. So we're not doing this whole starting from the ground up thing that everybody in the past has done. Right there's no origin stories in this. We are just telling stories that exist within DC, and I love that about this. But given that it is also a new universe that is kind of lived in already, if you do a tie-in comic book, you're telling everything that leads up to the story and why these characters are involved.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. But so let's get wacky with it. So let's say he's like, yeah, he's going to do that. But then he decides, you know what? I want to do one just for me. Has nothing to do with the movies or anything that I'm doing.
That would be dope too.
I say Captain Carrot.
Captain Carrot? And he's fighting Condiment Man.
But no, seriously, that's what I'm saying. I want to see something like that. Just like if he were going to do something for Marvel, Howard the Duck. What I would want him to write. God,
I would love to see him go back
Howard the Duck and Rocket Raccoon go on and it's a buddy cop.
That'd be
or a buddy adventure. Yeah, buddy adventure. So that's what I want to see. Or Plastic Man. Can you imagine if he did a Plastic Man comic? That would be amazing. From James Gunn.
I'd want to see Plastic Man and Elongated Man just get in a fight.
Yeah.
See who's the better character. That is basically both of them.
I want to say they had a couple of scenes in one of the crossover events. I think it was Infinite Crisis or the one where you find out Zatanna mind wiped Dr. Light, and that's why he went insane.
Oh yeah.
I think that was Infinite Crisis.
I think that was Infinite Crisis.
So I want to say they had like a thing where they were together in a team somewhere, and I don't think that they really got along that well.
Because they have the same powers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is the point? You guys are both Mr. Fantastic ripoffs.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that is it for rumors, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the news because it is now time to get into the download. So let's do that. All right. Well, guys, given that we're here now, for more news, trailers, reactions, check out the Distance Nerdington post. Let us know what you're nerding out on, all of the different things. If you're seeing it here, it is on the show or in the group chat right here. So speaking of David Corenswet, we like our heroes thick with 2 C's. Because this is actually a pretty funny story to bring up. Corenswet has had many roles over the last decade, but none to compare with his new role as the Man of Steel. It's no simple thing to step into the cape and boots of the superhero who embodies truth, justice, and the American way.
Flag waves in the background.
With super strength and speed at his disposal. Corenswet talked about preparing for the role on episode 27 of the Manly Things sort of podcast. I wasn't 238 pounds when we started shooting. I was 238 at my max. Didn't fit into any of my pants. The actor also discussed the difficulty of maintaining his peak weight throughout the production process. He shared that the transformation he underwent initially didn't feel great because his body had not yet adjusted to all the extra weight he had gained. Corenswet joked about realizing he had become a 2XL when donning a champion sweatshirt during a table read for the film, telling the podcast, "That was at the peak of my bulk. And when I slowly lost weight before we started shooting at about 228, about 230. I know I wanted this to be my excuse to see what it felt like to gain essentially as much weight as I could." In May, Paulo Moschiti, the personal trainer for the Superman cast, shared a photo of the film's titular star in an Instagram post stating, "David Corenswet worked his ass off, and I can't wait to share more of the training we did to prepare for the iconic role. Stay tuned for more." We will be able to see the actor in all his Superman glory when the film is released in theaters on July 11th, 2025. It's great. So let's.
I love it.
It's so good. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story.
Oh yeah. Oh hey, look! It happened. My Irish senses are tingling for this next story. Tim Roth is the latest actor to join the cast of Stephen Knight's Peaky Blinders movie. He joins Cillian Murphy. Is it Cillian? It's Cillian. Cillian Murphy, Rebecca Ferguson, and Barry Keoghan in the film. Tom Harper is directing the movie from a script written by Knight. There are still no plot details, but Knight did say at one point that the story would be set during World War II.
Interesting.
Yeah. Knight talked about the film in the past, saying, "The film, I know exactly what it's about, and I know what 2 stories it's going to tell. What will happen after that? I want that to depend on the film. For all we know, somebody is going to pop out. I think I know who it's going to be." Wow. He's a sassy little tease.
Yeah.
Right? Roth is such a fun actor to add, and it will be interesting to see who he ends up playing in the world of Peaky Blinders. No release date or production start date available at time of reporting.
All right. Well, let's again move on to the next story here.
I will say that mustache that he has in that picture is magnificent.
It is. It absolutely is. Intro. No joke. Intro.
No,
what's funny is I was like, I'm not even gonna make anything up. I'm just gonna say intro. Transition. Moving on. Ben Hardy and Mia Tomlinson have joined Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I can't say her name. Farmiga. In New Line's next film in the Conjuring franchise, The Conjuring: Last Rites. The next chapter in the series will once again be written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick.
That's a long name.
That sounds like a fake name. Who previously wrote the screenplays for the last 2 installments. There's no word yet on who will be directing, but the franchise creator James Wan will produce alongside Peter Safran. There are still no story details to share on the movie, but Wan previously said in an interview that this film might wrap on the Warren story. He said, with the Conjuring films, we're very precious about them. And we kind of want to just take our time to make sure we get it right and to make sure the emotion of the Warren stories that we want to tell and moving into and potentially wrapping up, we just want to make sure that it's the right thing, the right story that we're telling. It was also announced that there is a Conjuring series in development for HBO Max's streaming series. The show is said to continue the story established in the feature films, but no other details were shared. The Conjuring films are based on the case files of the Warrens, and no details on when it starts filming have been released. So, fun times. Let's go ahead and move on. Intro.
Intro. This one has one. Who says soccer isn't a contact sport? Paramount Plus and Showtime's Yellow Jacket series has added Hilary Swank to the cast of its upcoming season 3. She will be a recurring guest star on the series, which is currently filming in Vancouver. Details regarding Swank's character have not been revealed, but she might be teaching karate. But there is an option for her to become a series regular should the series get a 4th season.
It actually upsets me that she never showed up in
in the new Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, yeah.
Okay, so we have a synopsis.
All right, go ahead.
If you haven't seen the series Opsis, don't listen to this next part synopsis.
If you haven't seen the series Opsis, don't listen to this next part synopsis. Synopsis.
Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets is the saga of a team of wildly talented high school girls soccer players who become the unlucky survivors of a plane crash deep in the remote northern wilderness. The series chronicles their descent from a complicated but thriving team to savage clans, while also tracking the lives they've attempted to piece back together nearly 25 years later, proving that the past is never really the past and what began out in the wilderness is far from over. Yellow Jackets director and producer Karen Kusama previously teased what's coming, saying, "I've been so excited by this. The concept of that immediate aftermath of re-entry into the world, to me, there's a whole season worth of material there. And the fact that this is such a long game that each of these characters is facing in terms of reorienting themselves to whatever normalcy is supposed to be. I'm sure we're going to learn that their normal is a lot different than our normal. There's a lot that needs to be figured out between season 2 and season 3. Swank joins Melanie Linsky, Sophie Neilise, thank you. Juliette Lewis, Christina Ricci, Samantha Hanratty, Tawny Cypress, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Sophie Thatcher, Courtney Eaton, Lauren Ambrose, Liv Hewson, The Kitchen Sink, Steve Kruger, Warren Cole, Kevin Olive, Josh Allen. Joel McHale has also recently joined the cast.
Allen.
I just was putting names in there at that point. Season 3 was delayed by the strikes, but it will premiere on Showtime next year.
Jesus. David,
I didn't realize how many names I had put down, and I was like, I'm just going to add some.
David Michael Greer.
Uncle Ultron.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi.
Right. And Tim Roth, believe it or not.
Tim Roth. Giant robot cops who are coming from the job. Amazon MGM Studios is moving forward with its RoboCop series, and it's being developed by executive producer James Wan and showrunner Peter Oko. James Wan is involved in everything right now.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, the series will rehash the premise of the films and focus on a giant tech conglomerate which collaborates with the local police department to introduce a technologically advanced enforcer to combat rising crime, a police officer who's part man, part machine. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a synopsis. Before Amazon bought MGM, there was another RoboCop-inspired series in development that would have focused on a young Dick Jones and the rise of omni consumer products, or OCP. I'll buy that for $1. RoboCop creator and screenwriter.
I'm down with OCP.
Yeah, you know me. RoboCop creator and screenwriter Ed Numier was attached to that project. He previously said of it, "I'm working with these two writers, Dave Parkin and Rob Gibbs, who brought this idea to the TV producer friend of mine, who then brought it to me. The first time I heard it, I knew it was a cool idea because I could see a lot of things you could do with it. It's such an interesting character." When talking about the ideas that they are that they are playing with, Numier goes on to say, "There's the idea of doing things about business and law enforcement in the city of Detroit a minute and a half in the future. It would be a way to do all sorts of stories about business and tech, Silicon Valley corporations, snakes and suits, cops, all that. It's a wonderful, rich tapestry. So we've been talking about it, and I think we have an interesting story. It's fun to work with a younger version of Dick Jones we met in RoboCop. He's an actualized corporate predator in the movie, but nobody necessarily starts out being a bad guy. So it's going to be about the evolution of Richard Jones to Dick Jones, the story of OCP, and how the world moves in the future, how the corporate world behaves." No more news on what we might get back to the cyborg of all of it. So fun times.
Yeah, fun time. Oh, hold on. Someone's excited about RoboCopper, apparently.
Yeah, we're all excited about RoboCop.
Oh, no. Do you want to do this one? You can do this one.
Oh, yes, I'm doing this one.
Okay. I figured you'd want to.
You do not have a choice. More Deadpools, more Wolverine. Shut up and take my money. Wait a minute.
Shut up and take my money.
All right, you'll be able to watch Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine over and 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 over again as the film is set to be released on digital on today. I'm buying it right after this, October 1st, and 4K Ultra HD DVD, Blu-ray, DVD on October 22nd. Amazon Prime Video will include a bonus X-ray experience, which features featurettes such as Deadpool doodles, character pros and cons, and trivia. Oh, I'm going to be doing the trivia. Fandango at Home and Apple TV have also have their own unique featurettes. The 4K UHD Blu-ray will have exclusive custom art and packaging. There will also be 2 steelbook versions to choose from. One version spotlights a Deadpool theme, while the other showcases Wolverine. Below is a list of the bonus materials. 1, Finding Madonna, making the winner. Director Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds break down the historic scene in the film, The Oner, which highlights the first fight in which Deadpool and Wolverine finally unite. 2, there is no 2.
Oh, that was that. Sorry.
Oh, no, this is going to be fun. I'm using this as a joke. No, don't change it. 3, Practical Approach, celebrating the art of Ray Chan. A tribute to longtime Marvel Studios collaborator Ray Chan, who sadly passed away in 2024. The cast and crew recall anecdotes and echo the resounding positive effects of filming on the set he helped design, full of intricate details and Easter eggs. Number 4, there is no number 4. Number 5, Loose Ends, the Legacy of Heroes. Reynolds, Levy, and the cast and crew go through some of the cameos and the characters who finally get their deserved endings. They cover the intensive choreographed sequences, updated costumes, etc. Number 6, there is no number 6. Number 7, Wolverine. Hugh Jackman describes the return to Wolverine. Cast and crew discuss how he picks up his yellow and blue suit for the first time, brings a variety to the role, and continues his legacy from previous films. Number 8, there is no number 8. Are you getting... Are you getting a pattern here? Filmmaker commentary with Levy and Reynolds. And that's the only reason I'm going to buy the DVD version, is because of filmmaker commentary with Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds. Number 10, there is no number 10. Gag reel is number 11. Outtakes on set with the cast and crew of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which is why we're getting the DVD, because Husby loves outtakes and bloopers.
Exactly. It's one of my favorite things too. Number 12, there is no number 12. Number 13, deleted scenes. A elevator ride, Paradox explains the sacred timeline to Deadpool as they walk around the TVA, do nothing. B-15 instructs Paradox to stay out of trouble, rejecting his efforts to take action. Daddy's in love. B-15 and Peter strike up a romance. That sounds so good. Peter announces he is in love to his friends, Headpool and Kidpool. B, fun sack, including Dr. Deadpool. Dr. Deadpool, PhD, very kindly informs us of the risks of testicular cancer and tries to convince Hugh Jackman to do a live checkup. Sure, that's something we wanted to see in the movie. C, product review in which Deadpool shows off some toys and trinkets from the franchise, including one top secret item that may or may not be a spoiler. And D, Wade is back, whereby Reynolds and Jackman promote a movie, but Ryan misleads Hugh on just exactly which movie they are there for. And then I'm also sure that one of the scenes that they're putting back in there is the one that his best friend in the world was taken out of.
Oh, Rob's. Yeah.
I'm sure Rob's scene is going to be on there. So, of course, we're asking here, when am I putting this on my Deadpool altar? And starts today. Absolutely. Is going to be there.
That's actually the last thing for the news boosh.
Right, because I am Marvel Jesus. Okay, let's move on to the regular download here.
From Marvel's Jesus to DC's Maid of Might.
From me to the Maid of Might? Sorry, I had to do it.
Rust and Bone actor Matthias Schoenertz. Schoenertz. I'm going to say Schoenertz. I apologize, Matthias. Has landed the role of the main villain in DC Studios' upcoming Supergirl movie. He will join House of the Dragon's Millie Alcock. She's so cute. Who is taking on the title role. This will be the second film released in the Gods and Monsters DC Phase 1. And the film is set to start shooting later this year. The film has been referred to as Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the past. But after Gunn changed the title of his Superman film to just Superman, there's a chance this movie will just be titled Supergirl. I really hope they don't do that. I like Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Same. I think they should just keep with that.
Anna Nogueira is writing the screenplay for the film, and it was previously explained that the movie is based on Tom King's wonderful comic book series that came out just last year. This is a very different type of Supergirl. No details on when the production will start. So, other than like later this year, but I mean,
right. I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to get Supergirl. To get like, aside from the one that we got recently in The Flash. Like,
and she had her own show. Yeah.
Right. And, it's gonna be good seeing like an actual movie and doing justice to the character and everything like that. So I mean,
yes, and it won't have Faye Dunaway in it.
I think like 90% of people forgot that was actually a thing, that actually happened.
Right? Yeah, that was just the oddest Supergirl movie. I loved it because I just loved it, but it was campy AF. But I mean, Faye Dunaway that's like Susan Sarandon in Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
It's that's the amount of ridiculousness,
and it's just one of those things that people just didn't realize happened.
Yep.
So moving on to the next story here, and again, I'm very excited for this. Are we in our Alan Tudyk era? Is that just where we're at nowadays?
Yes.
Well, just because
I don't know that I ever left it.
Right.
I think I've been in it's decades now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been in my Alan era. I've been in my Alan era since he was a pirate.
Really, not Firefly?
He was a pirate in Firefly.
He was a pilot.
I thought about it for a second. I was like, oh no, wait, Firefly.
I was like, Firefly was before that.
As I was saying it, I was like, no, wait, but they're pirates. You can call them pirates.
They kind of are space pirates. That's
They're
true.
space pirates. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
they're still kind of space pirates. He's still a pirate.
More cowboys, but yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to make it work, but I was like, oh god, okay.
Then it fell apart. Okay, just get on with the story. Let's
It
just
has
do the
been
story.
revealed that actor Alan Tudyk will be playing a secret role in James Gunn's Superman. The film was wrapped and Tudyk was not revealed as part of the cast previously. We can count on seeing him when the movie premieres. Friend of Gunn and DC Universe, Tudyk is also voicing nuclear plant meltdown-born villain Dr. Phosphorus in Gunn's upcoming Max animated series Creature Commandos. The series technically kicks off the first part of DC Studios Phase 1, Gods and Monsters. Tudyk also voices Clayface and the Joker in the Max animated series Harley Quinn. And we also do know that James Gunn said that any character that is voicing something animated will play them live action.
So do you think that's why it's like he just didn't say that he was in it? He's like, oh, he's just Dr. Phosphorus.
Dr. Phosphorus. Yeah, I mean, which kind of, I feel like that's a waste of Alan Tudyk in the live action, but at the same time, it's not.
But yeah, no, I mean, part of me says yeah, and part of me says he could still, like, if he's voicing, like, let's say they're doing Brainiac, right?
Oh,
He could voice Brainiac.
He could voice Brainiac,
And he could, and it would be a totally different voice than Phosphorus.
Alan Tudyk can do so many voices; it's ridiculous.
There are times when I'm like, is that Alan Tudyk? Like, I mean, I will just be watching something and there'll be a voice, and I'm like, I think that's Alan Tudyk, because you don't know. He just shows up.
Yeah. And he tends to do that, just like really literally do that, just show up. I'm like, oh yeah, you want to play this role? Yeah, sure, why not? So Gunn announced the completion of the project on Superman in July. Superman freeze breaths, laser eyes, and flies into theaters on July 11th, 2025.
Yeah, he does. He sure does.
I'm just kind of excited to see what Alan is going to play in this movie, whether it's, whether Dr. Phosphorus shows up or if it's like he just voices another character, or maybe it's just a cameo and he just doesn't play any character and it's just some dude on the street.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know that they would be making this much of a deal of it if it was just like random guy number 4.
But the thing is that what they're announcing is that Alan Tudyk is in an undisclosed role. Yeah, but what if he's just like how he was in Deadpool 2, where he was just the dude that was.
Oh yeah, that was really funny. I liked that. That was I forgot about that, and then we watched it with Shadu, and I saw that. I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this. I love it.
Him and Matt Damon playing like just random country dudes, number 1 and number 2.
Right. Yeah. Was it the Dale and Earl versus Evil? What's the Dale and Earl versus Evil?
Well, I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that's because he had very similar character. Like, I thought he was playing that character.
Right.
Like crossover. Anyway.
So moving on to the next story here.
And I do love him, so I want him to be in everything.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
Well, isn't this a back-breaking, eye-gouging development?
I'm here to break your back.
So there's a synopsis in this as well, and it's a lot. Okay, so DC Studios CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran are producing a live-action movie that will center on the DC characters Bane and Deathstroke. Bane-stroke.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Deathbane. No.
Bane-stroke sounds so much better.
That's the parody porn version.
Yeah.
The script for the movie is currently being written by Matthew Orton, who worked on Marvel Studios' upcoming Captain America: Brave New World. As of right now, there's no director attached and no details to share in regard to the pilot because it's literally being written.
Yeah.
They're writing it right now.
I'm just saying it before we get into the next part. They better rehire what's his name right now?
James Mangioli.
Joe Manganiello. They better rehire Joe Manganiello. Deathstroke. He was the best Deathstroke, and it's you can reuse him as that character. It's
we talked about this last week. We were talking about how we loved him. We wanted him to be Deathstroke.
Yeah,
so bad. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, did
we make this happen?
Yeah.
Oh shit, we did.
I want Bane to actually be Cuban this time.
Right? Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I want him to be the best Bane he can be. The Baniest Bane.
The Baniest Bane. I will break your butt. Sorry, I meant your
All right. So backbreaking Opsis backstory comic book synopsis.
Backbreaking Opsis. Backstory comic book synopsis.
All right. So there's 2 of them.
You want me to take one of them?
No, that's fine. I'm just letting you know. So I'm going to go through Bane first, and we're going to go through Deathstroke, setting expectations. Bane is one of Batman's most formidable villains, known for his immense physical strength and brilliant intellect. Born in the harsh environment of Peña Duro, a prison on the island of Santa Prisca, Bane's life was shaped by violence and survival. His upbringing forced him to become physically powerful and mentally sharp, eventually becoming the prison's top inmate. What sets Bane apart from other villains is his use of the drug venom, which amplifies his strength to superhuman levels. Bane is a master strategist, able to analyze and exploit his opponent's weaknesses. His most iconic moment in DC Comics comes when he breaks Batman's back in the Nightfall storyline, symbolizing his ability not to just defeat Batman's body, but also his spirit. That's Bane, everybody. Thank you, Bane. Thank you.
I was wondering what would break first, your mind or your body.
That's really good. You do a very good Tom Hardy Bane. Now, Deathstroke, also known as Slade Wilson, Wade's grandpa, is a former military officer who volunteered for an experimental procedure. He was enhanced with superhuman strength, agility, and regenerative abilities.
You did it correctly.
Scene, making him one of the deadliest mercenaries and assassins in the DC universe. As a master tactician and expert in various combat forms, Deathstroke has clashed with superheroes like Batman, Green Arrow, and the Teen Titans. His personal vendetta against the Titans is fueled by his son's tragic death, for which Slade holds the team partially responsible. His cold, calculated approach to both life and battle makes him an unpredictable and relentless foe. So basically, Deathstroke, for everybody out there that may be hearing like this version of Deathstroke for the first time, is what if Captain America also went insane? That's essentially what Deathstroke is he has a super soldier serum. He has all the same powers as Captain America, but it also drives him completely insane, and he becomes a mercenary and an assassin, and just he's very paranoid, so he just kind of goes after everybody that he thinks slights him. Yes, yeah. It's like he's on a bad acid trip all the time. Except he's real, and also an Adderall. Yeah, it's funny because, like, you know, they're both of them are on some kind of drug. Because Bane is on a super steroid, and Deathstroke is just he needs Adderall more than right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. My question after this was, who's your money on to come out on top? Like, who's going to win if they do this? It's kind of hard to call who would win this fight, just because Bane is also a master tactician. You know, contrary to the way that people think that he is, just because there's 2 portrayals of Bane where they've made him pretty much an idiot. Right? They made him a muscle bound, just
invalid in the 90s movie. And in the Harley Quinn cartoon, he's not that smart.
No, but he's hilarious.
He's very funny, but he's kind of an idiot, right? Like
he's also in Kite Man, and he's really funny in Kite Man.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's one of my favorite characters in that show, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he's absolutely hilarious. But comic book accurate version of Bane, which sounds like that's what they're going for, is extremely scary because the dude is strong, he's fast, he is a master tactician. He's one of the few characters that's been able to outthink Batman.
Yeah, no, I'm all about that. I want to see that side to Bane. I've been wanting it just as long as you have.
Right. And like I said, I've been wanting to get a full-on Santa Prisca version of Bane where he has that Cuban accent. He is, like you get that kind of like comic book accurate version of Bane. Also, Deathstroke is one of my favorite villains in DC because he's unpredictable, because he outthinks everybody that he goes up against. He's another guy that's been able to defeat Batman in one-on-one combat. Like basically, Bruce got to a point where he was just like, I can't fight this guy, so I have to he basically had to trick him into like stopping him.
Yeah,
you know, and it was one of those things where like he got him, like it was a matter of swiftness that he got him like caught in a cage, and he was just like, oh man, you were 10 seconds away from me killing you, buddy. like
yeah.
Deathstroke. And what's funny is he didn't get angry. He just goes, because that's another issue with Deathstroke is when he gets angry, he loses his control. But he didn't even get angry. He just got caught, put his sword down, and just sat there. And he goes, good move. And it's just like, holy shit. Like this dude.
Yeah, they have like now, like since they had like their major fight, they have this like mutual respect for each other.
Like Bruce has high respect for Deathstroke. And it's not just like, oh, you're a bad guy. It's more like, you are a serious threat, and I'm never going to take you lightly.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, he's like, and that his relationship with Deathstroke brought his relationship with Dick Grayson closer.
Absolutely.
After all that.
Absolutely, because it's especially with all the Teen Titans storylines, and when he became the main villain because he was originally designed as a villain for the Justice League, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna use him for Teen Titans, and they really wrote him really well for the Teen Titans.
Oh yeah, and it and I think that's why everybody loves him so much now. Like if he'd gone up against the Justice League, he just would have been another Justice League villain that gets swallowed up because it's not Darkseid or it's not, the Legion of Doom or whatever, So I'm glad they did it, because highlighting him and he really was the Teen Titans' first real villain.
Right.
Because he showed up in issue number 3.
Right.
And so he was like their first main villain, and he just kept coming back. And so it really, I think, gave him a lot of respect amongst the comic book community.
The other thing is like Deathstroke's rewrite in New 52 was crazy. Because,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because when they did his rewrite in New 52, they gave him more of a backstory. They kind of gave him more of that, Captain America kind of background, but they explained like how the serum just like drove him batshit crazy, like to the point where he killed his wife. And he has this whole history with Amanda Waller. They were on a special forces team together, which was kind of cool to add that together with the two of them before he took the serum, right? So like, Amanda Waller has like this really close relationship with Slade Wilson. But then also he's so formidable that when Lobo invaded, Amanda Waller called Deathstroke, and Deathstroke brought him in. Yeah. That's a big deal. Like, you're taking on somebody like Lobo, a guy who can fight Superman one-on-one.
Yeah, but I feel like Deathstroke is, and I don't know if this is a thing, he's kind of like, maybe like lawful chaotic. Like he's he understands chaos.
He does.
And I think that's why he could bring Lobo in, is because Lobo is pure chaos.
Right.
And so he understands it, but he's so ordered that he can understand chaos, but he can also fight it. So
right. So like,
I think that's it.
Where we're at on this, going back to where's my money on who would win this fight, I think eventually this ends up being a stalemate, just because both of these guys are guys that are capable of outsmarting someone like Batman. You know, Deathstroke is taking down guys that are way stronger and bigger than Bane, but Bane in his peak form can outsmart someone like Deathstroke too. So that's kind of where I'm like, they're focusing on the intelligence that these characters have that you don't typically see all the time unless you read the comics. All right. And them being in a fight, like I see Bane taking the venom, breaking Deathstroke's sword, and it coming down to like a one-on-one fight. Deathstroke's going to be smart enough to cut off the tubing.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to the
just like fisticuffs.
Right. It's going to come down to who's better at hand-to-hand combat. And I mean, I think that Deathstroke is a better fighter overall between the two of them, but Bane is like, he's somebody who can take a pretty big beating. So
I still think it would be Deathstroke.
I think it becomes a stalemate. I think at the end of this, it ends up being a stalemate. They both end up kind of in a position where they agree to work together, and it moves on the story of what's going on in DC's universe.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like it, and I like that pitting these characters against each other, because I do think they're very well matched.
Yeah, it is a very good match between the two of them, especially if you're going with if you're going with comic accurate versions of the characters.
Yes, absolutely. So from dysfunctional relationships to
is this mine? This is mine. You don't even have to read the Joker shit. So many red flags in this relationship. There are a lot of red flags in this relationship. This relationship defines red flags.
Flags are so red they've caught on fire.
I'm actually afraid, considering how much Todd Phillips has changed the character, if they're gonna go the route of like toxicity between the two of them. But anyways, Joker Folie à Deux writer and director Todd Phillips recently held a QA session before a screening of the film, and during that discussion, he talked about the film's ending and how he thinks audiences will react to it. Phillips explained, for the people that have seen this movie in general, at the end, they sit and they don't move for about 3 to 5 minutes. That sounds like it's going to be fucked up. I think it's going to leave you with very unsettling. I think it's unsettling. He also noted that the film also clarifies a lot of things that you might have had questions about in the first film. I hope it all gets answered. Phillips discussed the franchise's shaky relationship with reality, saying he had a lot of fantasies in the first movie. This movie really finds Arthur, answers everything for us as well. Well, that movie really happened. All that stuff really happened. While he says the sequel will clarify the first film's more surreal elements, he also joked that the audiences still might have some questions. He concluded saying, again, if you don't understand it, email me. I think it'll all come together.
Just email me.
I love that. I love that. He's just like, okay, well, if you don't understand it, I will clarify everything for you. Which actually is something that I want, because it feels like now both of these movies are things that take place in the Joker's head, which gives me a more respect for the way that he's writing this.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Absolutely.
Right. Because it's not like, they're not true origin stories. It's another, kind of how they did with Killing Joke. They're unreliable stories. It's just shit that's happening in his head that he thinks is real.
Yeah, he's an unreliable narrator.
Exactly. And I want that. That's all I wanted out of this, is that you have this idealized version of the Joker in his own head.
Yeah.
but reality is that he's just a fucking psychopath.
Right.
Uh,
Who likes to wear purple?
who likes to wear purple. He's not wearing that. Well, I guess he is wearing a little bit of purple in the first movie. So we have an synopsis here.
Okay, so I'll do it and then you can do your thing. Get out the grease paint opsis. We bout to start clowning synopsis.
Really? Get out the grease paint synopsis. We about to start clowning synopsis. Synopsis. In the film, Arthur Fleck is institutionalized at Arkham, awaiting trial for his crimes as Joker. While struggling with his dual identity, Arthur not only stumbles upon true love, but also finds the music that's always been inside him. Arthur forms a strong relationship with Quinn, and together they embark on a journey filled with violence and music, because this movie is a musical.
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so me knowing that this movie is a musical, and now hearing that again, it's more like shaky fantasy shit. He's making up a musical in his head, and that makes me more like I kind of want to watch it more now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why are you making up a musical in your head? But I think that his relationship with Harley is going to be a fantasy of his.
Yeah, probably.
And it's not going to be like, it's not going to be what he thinks it is. But I think the thing that's going to be unsettling is I think in the end, we do end up getting that that Stockholm syndrome with Harley, and she ends up killing somebody for him.
Yeah. That's her like point of no return type thing. So.
Right. And I think that's going to be I think it's going to be a really grisly kill. And that's where it's going to be unsettling for people. Because again, the scene for people, you haven't seen the first movie, right?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. There is a very, very unsettling scene that kind of completes the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
It's messed up. It's one of those things where it's hard to watch.
Okay.
Because
train spotting, hard to watch.
He kills somebody in a very, very gruesome manner.
Okay. So American Psycho.
Yeah.
Unsettling. Okay. All right. Okay.
Basically, after it happens, he kind of just nonchalantly just blows everything off. There's a character that's in the room that's deathly afraid because he's fuck, he's gonna kill me now, right? And he's like, you were always nice to me. Yeah, you can leave. Right. And
wow.
he's just looking at him, and he's just yeah, just go before I change my mind. And he leaves, right? But it was just kind of yeah, it's a very unsettling, bloody, gruesome murder. And it's kind of, again, it's showing the amount of psycho that the Joker is.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, it becomes this unreliable narrator situation where now they kind of flash a couple of scenes at the end that show the things that we thought had happened. None of it happened at all.
Oh, wow.
And it was all shit that happened in his head.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So again, it is the descent of someone who is just a psychopath succumbing to their own psychosis.
Wow.
Again,
I'm never gonna watch it. So,
but no, I'm saying as much as I know you don't like the Joker, take the Joker out of it and watch the movie just as a movie.
It's not just that. It's also Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I know he's problematic himself, but I mean, again, the dude puts on a convincing psycho performance because he kind of is a fucking psycho. But I mean,
I'm sure it's fantastic, and I will regret not watching it, but I'm okay with that regret.
Joker Folie à Deux is scheduled to release this Friday on October 4th, 2024.
I think it's funny that's where we decided to transition back.
Yeah.
No, nope, I'm not. Yeah, I'm sure it's lovely.
I'm just saying if you take the Joker out of it, it's a fucking good movie. Because a lot just about people just kind of how far do you have to push somebody for them to hit their breaking point?
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of where it how it goes is the dude just seems like a quiet, nice kid, but he turns out to be a fucking psychopath, and enough people push him that he turns into a fucking serial killer.
Awesome.
So, moving on to the next story here.
I'm like, awesome. Sorry.
It's fine.
Green's just not his color. Josh Brolin recently commented on being offered the role of Hal Jordan in the DC Studios HBO series Lanterns, which is based on DC Comics' Green Lantern. He passed on the role, and not long after, we learned that Kyle Chandler had joined the series. Brolin acknowledged that things didn't work out. And he also commented on the Chandler casting news. The actor told Comic Book, you know what? Green Lantern didn't work out, but that's okay. It's working out. Who is it going to be? Kyle Chandler. I love him as an actor. I think he's wonderful, actually. And, we'll see what's down the line, man. Brolin didn't offer any insight into why he passed on the role. Lanterns will launch in the summer of 2025.
Nice. I do like that his answer wasn't like, well, I turned it down, I didn't want to do it. It was like, I'm fucking busy.
Yeah. I really think it probably was just scheduling.
Right.
And the way he's like, hey, and maybe there'll be something down the line. So he's not saying I'm totally not going to work for DC. He's just saying I can't do it right now.
Right. And I do love that he's just like, okay, so there's still a chance. But at the same time, he's like praising Kyle Chandler, and it's like, no, he's going to be a great Hal Jordan.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to think they probably have been up for similar roles in the past.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So again, I'm excited for Lanterns. I can't wait to see how it turns out. It seems like it's going to be a really good buddy cop show. So
I am so excited. I really, really am. Of all of the stuff, like, yes, I want more Wonder Woman stuff. Yes, I want, really cool female-led comic book things. Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Power Girl, heck, Catwoman. No, let's not do that. We did that once. It's over. Maybe Gotham Sirens. How about that? That would be so awesome.
If they redid Gotham City Sirens, that would be great.
Yeah, I would love that. But just like, something, I would love stuff like that. But of like the Justice League, like the not really OG because that was Justice Society, but you know what I'm talking about, like Justice League.
Well, what's to say we won't get Justin Cruz at some point, right? I mean, like
right? No, but that's what I'm saying is like I really love that they're doing Green Lantern, and it's lanterns. It's not okay. We're just gonna do this one guy. It's like no, it's gonna be about this group of people from all over the universe that are space cops. They have a sector, and that's what they're in charge of. Of course, Earth needs several because we're that extra.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm glad it's not just hey, this is Green Lantern. It's it's the Hal Jordan show. It's like it's about the actual like society of lanterns, and I love that. That was my favorite bit of lore that they established.
It's going to be interesting to see how Sinestro plays into all this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's going to show up, and he's going to be a Yellow Lantern at this point. If we're getting John Stewart, we've already got a couple of Earth Sector Green Lanterns. Sinestro's got to be a Yellow Lantern at this point, especially if the show's called Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're gonna get Sinestro at some point. The predictable thing is gonna be this murder that they're investigating in the Midwest. Turns out to be something Sinestro did, right? That lures them in, right? Especially with fear. But that's if they go predictable. If they go unpredictable, it'll be interesting to see how Sinestro shows up.
Okay, sorry, Gal is literally right in front of like where my setup is. She's gotten in like the little hole of my setup, and she's just like, Mom, love me, pet me, I love you, please pet me, please, Mommy. So
for the audio listeners, I know it's adorable, right? You guys just hear Fray
like,
petting her dog.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm afraid she's gonna get wrapped up in cables and stuff. So I'm like trying to keep her from freaking out.
So let's get to this last story right here. Robot cars are coming for our jobs. Chris Hemsworth, God. It's just the way I delivered that. Chris Hemsworth does a fine job voicing Optimus Prime in the new Transformers 1 animated film, but let's be honest, he's no Peter Cullen. Cullen is Optimus Prime, and there was really no reason to replace him. Sure, the filmmakers will tell you they wanted someone new to voice a younger version of the character, but seriously, they just need to be honest. They wanted a big A-list actor attached to the role. They wanted Chris Hemsworth's name used in all the marketing, not Peter Cullen's. So we now have an Optimus Prime that sounds like Chris Hemsworth. When this just sounds like fucking a hate piece against Chris Hemsworth.
Right? It's not, but it really
not. I know it's not, but it starts that way, right? When talking, it's when you read it out loud, it's like, God, this sounds so bad. It's different when you read it in your head. When talking about taking on the role of the iconic character Hemsworth shared, what was so nerve-wracking about it, I was thankful that what wasn't required of me was to come in and mimic, rip off what Peter Cullen had done. This was a youthful version, playful before he had become the all-knowing, wise Optimus Prime. Toward the end of the film, there's kind of one speech or two where we really lean into the cadence and the vocal quality of what Peter was doing, and that was the most nerve-wracking part for me. He went on to talk about being directed by Josh Cooley, saying, there were times in the film where I was leaning toward it a little too heavily, a little too early, and Josh was like, "Oh, sounds great, but we're not there yet." He added, "It was something that really excited me about the film and the character. It was a fresh take and something unique. The version of Optimus Prime that we meet in this movie is not the same character that many of us grew up with. This is a reimagining of the character, and they made that clear with the movie. Transformers 1 is in theaters right now." Yes, it is a younger version of Optimus Prime. He's not even Optimus Prime at this point because he becomes Optimus Prime when he gets the Matrix of Leadership, which he does not have at this point. I haven't watched the movie, but I know where it takes place in because this is supposed to be before either of them are Optimus Prime or Megatron. This is when they were just like young and friends. This is before Optimus was the leader of the science division and
Megalodon.
Megatron. And Megatron was the general of the armies of all of Cybertron. So I mean, like, this is before they get.
Now, what kind of car does Megatron turn into?
Megatron's a tank.
He's a tank. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime is a semi-truck.
He's a semi-truck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're different versions of their vehicles in on Cybertron, but they are essentially like he is essentially a large commercial vehicle, and Megatron is still like a tank, but just like they're not like Earth vehicles. They're like like alien style vehicles.
Why are you so defensive? Is it because you know this where this is going?
Yeah, it's just because that is something that people are like. Why are you like Earth cars? And it's like they're not. At this point.
Me especially. I think I'm the most vocal about it.
Why are they cars?
I just don't get why they're Earth cars.
They're not Earth cars in this yet.
I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that it's totally the whole reason why Transformers were created was because they wanted to sell toys and they had to mishmash something together to make it work.
How do you make a robot turn into a car?
Well, it transforms. Transformers. Okay, write it down.
Transformers more than meets the eye.
But James said that on the lanterns thing, he said, what if it turns out to be about Amish superheroes with no electricity trying to protect the homestead by lantern light?
I would watch that too. I totally would watch that. What I really want to do is transform and have everybody transform their money into merch because we got merch, people. I was stretching. I was trying to find a good transition for that.
Yeah. I thought it was a lovely attempt.
I tried. I failed, but I tried. Ladies and gentlemen, you can buy all of the merch. All you got to do is message us at your social media of choice, or you can send us an email at the email spot, which we will get to later here, because we don't have hats, but we do have shirts. And you can DM us at Distance Nerding, and we'll get your size. Get your shirt reserved. $20 if you're local to the Sacramento area. $25 if we got to ship it to you. Get yourself some Distance Nerding shirts.
I'm wearing the character one.
She's wearing the character one. I'm actually rocking merch that we no longer have. But Lucharillas. I hope Eric brings his stuff back at some point. But so that's what we got going on here now.
You have a collector's item.
I do have a collector's item. Now the only thing that going into the schedule here that's not on here, game streams are no longer happening. I haven't changed the schedule plate here. But Tuesdays, the download
they're on hiatus.
They're on hiatus. That's right, because I am working on Mondays now. Tuesdays, the show you are watching now, the download from 6:30 to 8:30. We're just a little bit over right now, but we talk news, rumors, all that fun stuff. Thursdays, the build from 6 to 8 on Twitch and YouTube, and of course on Instagram Live. Come and hang out with us while we talk with celebrities and do interviews and stuff. At the same time, while I'm building Lego, I'm currently building Simba. This week's guest is
Simba. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, we got him on the show. Is Kenny Casanova, who is a wrestling person. He's in the indie scene. He was also a manager in a lot of the indie wrestling scene. Cousin of Adrian Adonis, who sadly died in the 80s in a car accident. But Adrian Adonis was like one of those up and coming rising stars. And Kenny Casanova is his cousin.
Oh, wow. Keeping it in the family.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about his wrestling credentials and everything. And he also has a comedy career. So
that's great.
All that kind of fun stuff. And that's what we're doing this Thursday. Now, of course, Fray, what I need from you now is for you to plug all of the things that you do. Pluggables.
Oh, hi. Oh, my hair's kind of flat. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm Fray. Jennifer. Hello. You all know me if you've been here before. If not, welcome. And I also have my own channel called Fray Girl on YouTube, where Shadu and I do a series called Classified, where we take your favorite fandoms, and we classify them into Dungeons and Dragons classes. We also have a sister show called Journals of the Classes, where we go through all of the classes and subclasses. So if you aren't really familiar with the classes that we're going through on the main show, you can actually find out about them. And I'm on Distance Nerding. I'm also on a show on Kyber Cave called The New Order, which is still being edited and should be out soon. But it's also like a Dungeons and Dragons style game, like an RPG that we did.
Super, super cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much where we're leaving it for the week here. So have something you want to discuss? Tell us what you're nerding out on, and make sure to let us know on the Facebook group, the Distance Nerdington Post.
He was going to say, make it sexy.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, make it sexy, make it so.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Of course,
but don't sew it sexy.
Don't sew it sexy. No, that'd just be weird. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to support us, the best way to support us is heading over to distancenerding.com. You can like, follow, subscribe. Here's my other call to action right here, guys. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify.
Yes.
Wherever you're listening to us at right now, guys. If you haven't left us a review, leave us a review, because that helps get the word out to more people out there. You know, we'll get marketed to other people that don't currently listen to the show, and get more people to listen to the show. Just leave us a review, or head over to distancenerding.com and hit that big blue button at the top right there that says buy us a taco, because you can buy us a taco. Join the taco party. That's right. You can join the taco party, and we will all have fun. That gets us out to more shows and gets us out doing more stuff, more events, getting rid of more prizes, giving away lightsabers and stuff, because we do that all the time. All the fun stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if you would like to connect with us, all you got to do is head over to all your social media places of choice. You can connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's not X, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and handles, the beard, and John Mez's glasses sitting on a table, just judging you for all the things that you are doing right now, like looking at OnlyFans. Not judging you. We're not king shamers. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like us to break up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of cars that turn into the people that turn into cars for some reason that Fray doesn't like, or no, actually, no, it's the Joker.
What?
I'm just thinking of the things that you hate the most. Send us an email at this. Like I said, I'm really just trying to think of the things that you don't like the most.
That's true. Things that tend to come up on the show that I am not a fan of.
Right. She's like, oh, the Joker and Transformers. Hate it all.
I don't hate Transformers. I just don't understand their creation and why they transform into cars. That's what I'm like. If you could transform into anything, why would it be a car? I just don't know. I just don't know what that's going on with that.
But think about it. If you're a robot trying to hide on Earth and you can transform into stuff, what would you transform into?
Not a car.
But what would you transform into?
I don't know. A person, probably. I mean, if I'm gonna be able to transform, I'm a robot and I can transform. I'm gonna transform into a person.
But
I'm gonna go, oh, hey, people are like the things there, so I'm gonna transform into that.
You're still gonna look like a robot, though.
Yeah, but you know what? People just think it's plastic surgery.
I was gonna say, because in the first movie they transform into like a Mountain Dew. A Mountain Dew like dispenser vending machine.
Do they really?
Yeah, one of them turns into like an Xbox.
That is right. In one of them, doesn't a toaster become evil and try to kill people?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then see, that's cool. But again, I don't. Okay, if they're aliens, you know what? The show's going to be another hour long if we get into this again.
It's nerding@aol.com, and we will read your email on air in case you forgot what this bit was. Like, what are they doing? I don't get it. So
they've gone so far away from the plot. It's like we're on another planet.
There's a plot. There's a story here.
Rarely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. As always, thanks. And keep nerding together. It is now time for the dance party. So let's get it going. Oh, he's so cute. That ass, though. Like Kellogg's anti-heroes?
Yeah. It's chimichangos.
I kind of want to eat those.
Oh, hello, X-Force. How are you doing? I'm putting my little baby back and getting up. Come on, baby.
We'll see everybody next week. Oh, wait, Thursday.